guys, welcome to another episode of The Things I Wish My Mum Had Told Me, the podcast, with me, your host, Emma Samson Hill.
And me, Clara Hermit.
Woo!
Woo!
That was real upbeat for me, wasn't it? It was like,
Woo!
hi guys!
Yeah, it was.
It's giving Mickey Mouse, kind of.
Hi guys! Hi guys! Like you've just had a little helium balloon. Hi
Well, that's the thing, guys. I've had half a flipping can of Red Bull and I'm off the walls.
Anything could happen in this podcast. Anything.
Oh, God, I hope it doesn't, no.
PSA to all of our lovely listeners, now is the time, whilst you're listening, to go and like the podcast. Please leave us a review because it really helps us and it helps the podcast get shared to a new audience.
100%.
And if they're watching on YouTube,
then you should subscribe to the YouTube channel. Give us a little comment down below. Chat with us in the comments.
give us a like, you know?
A like, subscribe, share.
All of that. We're out here.
You already know all these things and it's free.
It's free to do that, to support us. We're not asking you to pay us. We're just asking you to support us in the ways you can so that the podcast spreads and grows
to a broader audience. So
and
we can all
keep making
together.
it as well.
And then hopefully we can do a little live event. We really want to do a live event, guys.
Yeah. So comment and let us know if you want a live event. Don't forget, if you're not following us on Instagram and TikTok, it's mumtoldmepod.
Yeah, mum.
And you can go there, you can DM us, say, yes, I want a live event. Let us know the things that you'd like us to do, the topics you'd like us to discuss.
Yeah.
And we got you, homie, which is what we're doing today, aren't we?
Exactly. Today we're basically going to do like a girl talk episode. So it's going to be like a little hodgepodge mix match of things that you guys want us to touch on, but that we felt like there was no place for it to have a full episode. So we're going to like do a girl talk and mix them all up today and do a little topics of each.
Yeah. So we thought rather than just doing dilemmas, we'd ask you the things that you want us to talk about. And we're going to talk about them.
Give our opinions on them.
Yeah.
So we have quite a few. And so that's why you need to follow us on the Instagram, because we'll be doing all the stories over there where you can put your input in, babes.
Yeah. You put your input in. We could be talking about the thing you want us to talk about.
Exactly.
And you never know. We could have the right piece of advice
that
for
you need.
Right. So should we kick things off? Let's do this.
Let's start it off, girl. Okay. So.
Yeah.
Let's start off with this one.
Okay.
And this one is the effects of friends with benefits.
Woo!
This is a big one.
Friends with benefits. I'm going to talk about my experience of friends with benefits, and then you can talk about yours.
Yeah.
I find that friends with benefits for me has been notoriously difficult because I get emotionally attached to people. And I think when I have sex with people, I feel particularly vulnerable. And it makes me, I think there's a like a hormone release or something when you have sex as well that does make you like connect to people. But, you know, everyone's completely different. And I think that there's just something with me where also it triggers something in me around abandonment. And we've talked about attachment styles, and I have anxious attachment. And so I'm not like secure in that sense. And I've done a lot of work on that and it's getting so much better. But it used to just make me completely lose. And I hadn't even established if I really like this person or if I'd want more with them, but I would go into this. But I have had a couple of successful friends with benefits scenarios. If you listened to the podcast before, I should always have put in a caveat that even though, you know, there's been the last, I think, 3 years, I've kind of had 14 months periods of no sex until I've gone on holiday.
Yeah.
And then I've had holiday flings because I find it easier when I'm on holiday to have casual sex with someone and not attached to them. So that's one way that I feel like I can successfully have friends with benefits, but it's not ongoing. And the other, I think there's been probably 2 times in my life where there's been a person who I've had a friends with benefits situation with. And that's because I know them enough, whether they were a friend first or there was one guy that I'd kind of had a thing with in my early 20s and then he came back into my life when I was in my late 30s. So I knew him enough, I knew enough about him to know it would never work with him as a relationship. But the sex wasn't mind-blowing, but the sex was good. And it was good enough for me to be like, this is cool, because I didn't have any more feelings for him. There wasn't anything unknown or unexplored. So it felt very safe. Yeah.
I feel like sometimes you're in those periods of your life where it's like, I just want to have sex.
Yeah.
And that's what I want, but I want to do it in a way where I feel respected and safe and all of them things. And sometimes you're in a place where it's like, no, I don't want that at all. I've had a lot of friends with benefits because I think, to be honest, it started off with, obviously I had my first boyfriend who I lost my virginity to. Then the next person that I dated after that, my second person I ever slept with, like after we had sex for the first time, he like turned to me in bed and was like, so what are we? Are we friends with benefits? And I was just like, But I was like 17.
Well,
So
you
I
obviously just
didn't
heard the
even know.
term and thought it was
Exactly. We
cool.
were, we were so young, we didn't even know what the hell was going on. So I was like, yeah, bro, I thought I was in love with him. Obviously I wasn't.
Right,
But
okay.
I think I was obsessed with him because he didn't want me,
Mhm.
basically. But we were in the same friendship group. It was so messy. But long story short, that didn't work for me at all because I had really strong feelings
Right,
for him.
okay, yeah.
And mainly I had really strong feelings for him because he didn't want me and I was trying
Mhm.
to prove myself and it was tugging on all of my insecurities of like not being good enough
Yeah.
and this, that, and the other. But then as I got older, I ended up having quite a few friends with benefits situations. I feel like when I was younger, I did it a lot though, to a point where it didn't actually benefit me at all. I
Yeah.
wasn't putting myself first. I wasn't thinking, what do I want
Yeah.
out of a romantic or sexual relationship?
Mm.
I was just doing it because it was like, oh, they want to fuck me and they don't want to commit to me.
And
So
it
now we're friends with benefits.
but you I remember you've spoken about this before, and at that time it was a lot of you doing it for
Yeah.
validation, doing it, I guess, to kind of,
Feel
yeah,
beautiful,
and
feel
to feel
wanted.
wanted, etc. And you've spoken about the fact that actually it didn't do that. It would
Yeah.
leave you feeling really empty, and then it's kind of like on to the next one, which I
Mhm.
too have experienced as well. And I don't think that you can really call that a friends with benefits situation, because to me, a friends with benefits situation is that you're actually like you like each other. Like there should
Yeah.
be some kind of basis of a
You know
friendship
what?
there, no?
Yeah.
And then you're just having sex, but but both of you have reached a kind of like space where you don't want any more than
Yeah.
that. But then I do think with those situations that very often what ends up happening is one person catches feelings and
I
then
don't
it gets
know
messy.
though.
But you've had
I've had lots of
successful ones.
exactly. So like,
So how do you do it successfully then?
so when I think about it, like in my most recent years,
How do you have a successful
like there's
friends with
someone that I
benefits?
sleep with on and off,
Yeah.
that I think is a successful friends with benefits. Like we both know what it is. We know it's not going to go into a relationship. We both respect each other. We're very attracted to each other. Great sex, but that's what it is. I think what works for that is we don't live in the same city. That
Right.
makes it easier. So we can't
Yeah.
see each other all the time. And we don't talk like a lot. Like we might chat a little bit, like in DMs or whatever. We don't. When we first started chatting, we would have phone calls and FaceTimes and whatever. Now we don't even do that. It's just like if I'm in your city, you're in my city. It's happening,
Yeah.
and that works for us because it's like I don't need to know what you're doing outside of me because I know you're doing other stuff, but it's none of my business. It's. I think as I've got older, I've realized, especially with me, because in a sexual sense, like true intimacy for me is not sexual. Like I think that was what my issue was for a long time. Like I was searching for intimacy in sex when
Mhm.
actually when I delve deep into what is intimacy for me, it's not sex.
Mhm.
Like intimacy for me is like being able to be completely honest with someone and having deep conversations.
Vulnerability. Yeah.
Vulnerability is intimacy to me. Us taking our clothes off and having sex isn't
Easy.
intimacy.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's how I can detach my emotions and my feelings from sex because sex isn't what is going to make me like you.
Mhm.
Because like it might sound a bit crude, but it's like I can have sex with someone and I don't
Not like
want to
them.
be with you at all.
Mhm.
But like we could
But
have a great
but
sexual relationship. But I had to. I don't know if it's just kind of the person I am
mhm.
that I can just detach them emotions
But
from that
then
sex.
but it has to be the right person, right?
Yeah,
So that I think that's
100%.
the kind of difference in the scenarios where I've had those successful situationships. Or friends with benefits. It is because I like you, but I don't like you that
Yeah.
like that. Like, and I know I don't. I'm sexually attracted to you enough. Like the sex is good enough, but it's not toxic. It's not toxic. There's not those real emotional highs and you
Yeah.
don't want me and I want you to want me. It's none of that toxic shit. It's literally like we're cool, we can hang out like friends,
Yeah.
and then, we have sex and then we both go about our business until the next time.
Once I realized that you would not be a good partner to me,
That makes it easier,
I'm
yeah.
completely all my emotions are turned off.
Yeah.
Like I just and that's the way like I can still fancy the fuck out of you and we can have like good sex or whatever. But once I can see, yeah, you would not be a good partner to me, like it's done. Like not it's done, but I
What's the
can
point?
exactly
And
I
I
can now have a successful friends with benefits.
I
But
think go on.
I feel like if you are sleeping with someone where you feel like, oh, this could actually be a really great relationship, but it's just friends with benefits, that's the
That's
issue.
the
That
danger.
is the issue.
But the thing is, sometimes I think for me personally, I've never, like, in a lot of occasions, I haven't even considered whether this person would be a good partner. It's just
Mm,
like, I want them. And I think it is a little bit more like, because they don't want to give that level of commitment to me, it makes me want it more. And the sex is
mm,
the one thing that they will take. So you kind of like, if I've been in those push pull relationships that are toxic,
yeah.
then there's that. But I think I'm, definitely at a stage now where it's like, well, you have to get to know somebody to know
Mm,
if there would even be a good partner to you.
yeah.
There's someone that I was dating recently, and it seemed like everything that they did that was just normal, like bare minimum shit. Um, they were kind of making a point of. So I'm like, do you
Mm,
not want if making a small effort for me
yeah.
is difficult, let's just not do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like you do not have to do it. Let's just not do it.
Mhm.
I don't care. But things like that, I'm like, if it's like that now when we're first dating, I can see what this is going to be like. And because I'm such a generous person and I also like to do really nice things for people, that's how I like to be loved too. And if doing small, simple shit for me right now is so much effort for you, this is never going to work. So let's just
I think the main thing as well is you have to be honest with people. I feel like a lot of times now, people
the game.
they don't want to be honest with someone because they want to withhold information so they can get what they want.
Yeah.
And that is not fair. You
Manipulation, that
need to
is.
be honest. Like you need to be like, have that conversation about that. Are we just fucking? Are we just I'm very to the point with
Hmm.
people.
Hmm.
And it's just like I have to do that for me.
Yeah.
So I can understand and compartmentalize in my brain what's going on
And
here.
also you can decide then if you want to be part of it or not, right? Like if you know what you want and what you want is friends with benefits and this person
Mhm.
also wants friends with benefits, then you can gear yourself up for that.
Yeah.
Um and again, if it's not, if you want a relationship and someone's saying, well, actually I only want something casual, and you're in your head thinking, I'm gonna change him, I'll be the
Yeah,
person,
no, 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 no,
that's a
no.
terrible idea. And I do the same thing now. Like I say to people, what I have noticed sometimes is that people don't tell the truth back.
Yeah.
And I think that is not very nice.
No.
And I do want to do a PSA right now, public service announcement, that if you are someone who is dating, whether you're a guy, whether you're a girl, be kind to people and be honest with people. That's the two things, the very least things that you can do for people, I think, is just be
Yeah.
kind and be honest. I might be upset if someone was like, I'm not into you or whatever. I might be upset, not with them, just because the situation didn't work out the way I wanted it to. But at least I know
Yeah,
and I
you've
have some closure and I feel respected. When you just ghost people, you just leave people without any answers, it's cruel and it's unkind and
it
it's
is.
unfair. And yeah, I just wanted to say that because I just think if you're an adult dating, have the balls or the vulva to just be honest with people and tell them how it is. Whatever their reaction is, that's not your problem. But you have done the right thing. Be respectful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, I do think they can work, but I feel like they can only work for a certain amount of time now.
Yeah.
Like they have to run their course at some point.
Yeah. So situationships, and I guess it depends on you as an individual person, what you want, how easy it is for you. Like you're talking about to
Also,
detach emotion from the actual from
yeah.
sex.
Also, just because you're casual with someone, you still have to respect each other.
Yeah.
Like I hate this whole thing of like, oh, we're casual, so I can just do whatever and violate
No.
it. No. Like there has to be a
Friends
level
though.
of respect and honesty and communication. You don't void all of that just because you're not committed to each other.
But I wouldn't wanna have sex with someone that I couldn't have an
I
honest
know, but I
conversation
feel
with.
like a lot of people like end up in sexual sleeping with someone who actually doesn't respect them, and that's not what you want because then that's just not going to be enjoyable
Yeah,
because you can't be vulnerable.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, you're right. And you can't be confident and open as you would want to be. So that's our thoughts on
Hmm.
situationships. Do them if it works for you, but be really honest with yourself as well. I
Yeah,
think that's another thing. Like, don't go to yourself, yeah, I can do this. It's just going to be sex. When
yeah,
really deep down, you know that you're catching feelings for this person and you're probably going to end up
yeah.
getting hurt.
And do what's best for you,
Mhm.
not what you want to do. Do what's actually best for you. Okay, next question. Loneliness in adulthood.
I am so lonely.
I'm Mr. Lonely.
I have
It
nobody.
gets like that though, for real, especially when you live alone.
I think that when it comes to loneliness, what I will say though about loneliness and something that I've discovered from speaking to lots of people is that there's often an assumption that because I'm single that I would be lonely, right? But
Yeah.
I have friends, I have followers, I have, you know, people in my life who are in relationships and still feel lonely.
Yes.
You know, like you can be in a situation where there's other people and still be lonely, because if you are not seen, if you are not heard,
Understood.
if you are not understood, essentially it doesn't matter. So I think there is this kind of, misconception that if you you're lonely because you're on your own.
Yeah.
But actually loneliness doesn't have to be that you're on your own. It just is the situation, and it's, how those people who are in your life show up for you, see you, and how you show up for yourself, right? And we all want to be validated, we all want to be seen, we all want to be loved, we all want to be heard. And so I think that it's really important that as adults, that we establish and have people in our lives who do those things for us.
Yeah.
But also, outside of doing that for us, I should say, I always think, and I go back to this every time and I swear by it, the most important relationship you have is the one you have with your fucking self.
Absolutely.
And that's it. And I think I've done a video about, because someone said to me, being like single and whatever, aren't you lonely? And I was like, I don't know if I get lonely. And I
Yeah.
think that what I would say is I spent so much of my life feeling alone, which I think are
Yeah.
two different things. Like feeling, to me, alone is like an internal like feeling where you're isolated because there's no one around you that understands you at all. Like it's completely just you. And I think, whereas lonely, I guess, is like, maybe like more of a momentary experience.
Yeah.
But because I think after my mum died and I was just left to my own devices, like
Mm.
I felt so alone. None of my school friends could understand what it was like to be, you know, a, to have lost a parent. They were still in their, happy
Yeah.
9-year-olds running around the playground, and I would just stand there, and I'm like, it's just there's no
No
one
one
gets
gets you.
this, no one gets it. And I honestly, around that time, the most healing thing for me probably was horses. It sounds mental, but I had
Oh.
like a pony, and I would just go and be with them because
Mm.
they're, you don't need to exchange words.
They
They're
always love you.
they're very responsive to like emotion and stuff as well. And that was like really healing for me. And I think animals
Mm.
do have like, special powers, if you
Healing
will.
powers.
Yeah. So I think that I think loneliness is an inside job as well.
It is. And I think it's hard when you get older because it's like when you're younger, like you go to school every day or like you live
Yeah.
with your family. As you get older, like you might live alone now and like everyone's busy, everyone has jobs and partners or whatever it is. So I do feel like, and in your 20s as well, like you don't really make that many new friends
Hmm.
unless you're like consciously trying to make effort to make new friends. So it is one of them things where you can feel like, oh my God, like I'm alone. And I think I've lived alone now for 6 months. By the time this pod comes out, my friend will have actually moved in. My friend's moving in for a few months, which
Oh,
is nice. I feel actually ready for that.
yeah.
There's not many times where I sit and think, oh my God, I'm so lonely.
Hmm.
But I think it shows up for me in different ways. So as well, because I work from home, I'm not like going out to a job and sitting in an office with loads of people. Because I'm quite an independent person anyway. I really like my own company.
Me too.
So if I was going out to an office and like seeing people when I come home at night, I'd love that.
Yeah.
But like I think because I can work from home a lot,
Mm.
sometimes I could be at home for like 2, 3 days
Hmm.
on the trot and not see anyone. And that can feel really strange, especially if you live alone. Because it's like no one's coming here, it's just me.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make me feel lonely. I think it just
No.
shows up in a way where it's like I feel things feel mundane.
Mm.
Everything feels the same. It feels like Groundhog Day.
I
Every day's the same.
I quite like those times. I think because like
Mm,
sometimes my life can be really busy and
mhm.
like full on, and I'm surrounded by a lot of people. I also like, when I'm kind of like in my own little space and it's peaceful and it's
Yeah.
quiet and there's like no one else kind of in that space. And I'm living with my friend at the moment, and it's the first time that I've lived with somebody for, apart from a short stint that I lived with my brother for like 5 years.
Yeah.
And it's been really nice because it's, it's a big house, and we don't see each other all the time. We're both really busy. But it's, it's nice to like go and do stuff together occasionally,
Yeah.
or like have a chat with someone. But I also sometimes I just want to go in my
Yeah.
room, shut the door, and just be by myself. I love my own
Mhm.
company.
But this is the thing as well, what I realized. When you like live with someone or when you constantly have people around you, it's distraction.
Yeah.
When you live alone or you are alone a lot of the
Hmm.
time, you actually have time to look inwards and look at the aspects of your life that are maybe problems, things that you need to fix, things you need to work on. When there's constant distractions, you don't actually have to face up to anything that's
Hmm.
going on inside of you.
Yeah.
And so that's why I feel like being alone can be really hard.
Hmm.
but it's actually really beneficial.
But that's not necessarily lonely, I guess, is it? Like when you feel like that, because I've got
Mm,
a friend of mine, and it's exactly that. And I've had a client like that, a coaching client as well, who when I first started working with her, could not could not sit with the no TV, no phone, nothing, like not even for a minute.
yeah,
Couldn't do it. Could not sit still with herself.
yeah,
I also have a friend who's like that, who is constantly doing stuff out with people. Like she lives on her own, but she's never, ever, ever alone.
yeah,
And I kind of spoke to her and said, it's really healthy for you to be able to, chill out. How do you relax?
yeah,
Like, how do you ever just really let go, relax, and have like some time by yourself, just watching a movie or having a bath or listen to music? She cannot do it. And it's for
mm,
exactly that reason that when she does, the noise inside is too much and
mm,
overwhelming, or the emotions are too overwhelming. And she just avoids it, avoids it, avoids it, avoids it. And I think that there is so much power in getting comfortable alone, and it takes time to actually sit in it. And the thing is, like, I don't know, I think loneliness is kind of a like a state of mind as well, in a way, because I will go out and do stuff on my own, like, and
yeah,
and I used to, maybe if it was 10 years ago, I would have maybe looked around and felt like, oh, I'm here on my own. Everyone else is here with other people. I'm so lonely.
mm,
Whereas now I don't think of it like that. I look around and seeing other people happy makes me happy.
yeah.
And then I'm just like,
And
I'm
it's
so happy I can come and do this. This is
yeah,
just
it's
freedom.
rewarding
Yeah.
to do things for your own
Yeah.
good.
So I think maybe, I guess, a little bit of what you're saying as well is that if you are feeling uncomfortable on your own, or if you are feeling lonely, it could be an opportunity for you to do some work on yourself, right?
Yeah,
Like that could be a call in to go
yeah,
inward, do a bit of digging around,
yeah.
do a bit of work on yourself, shimmy it up.
Yeah, and it's like nothing lasts forever. Everything is an
It's
era. Everything is
temporary.
a period of
Yeah.
time. It's
And
never going to be like that forever.
also, I think if you're feeling lonely, you can, rush into things. You can have friends that aren't really friends. You can have,
Yeah,
be hanging around with someone of the opposite sex just for the sake of having some company, if that's the case. Whereas when you get to a place where you don't need anybody like that to make you
yeah,
not feel lonely, or you can sit with that loneliness, which I think is also powerful as well, then you can make better choices with
yeah,
your friends, with, like
and
partners.
ultimately have a more rewarding life.
Exactly. So yeah, and also I think it help if you realize what it is that's making you feel lonely. So it's like, well, actually, all of my friends have, settled down, had kids, so they're not available as much anymore. Or it's I've only got two friends and they work really long hours, and their hours are different to mine. Then it's like, okay, what makes me happy? What brings me joy? Can I do that in a group
Yeah,
setting so that I get to meet other like-minded people and have a bigger friendship group so I've got more people to spend time with? Um, your current situation, like you just said, Emma, is not going to be a situation the whole time.
mm,
You can do something
yeah.
about it.
This is like a branch off that. Someone had said, finding joy in your own company and spending time alone, which we've
I
sort
think,
of touched on.
yeah, I think you just have to do it, and you have to address, like Emma
You
said,
have to be uncomfortable.
yeah,
Like finding joy in your own company will be like being alone and like going out alone or doing things alone will be uncomfortable
to
at
start off
first.
with, yeah.
Of course it is. But the thing is about being uncomfortable. I think as I've got older and I've experienced more things like
Mm,
that, as I've got older, I'm like, this is actually the uncomfortability is actually really exciting
yeah, it's where
because it's
growth
going to make me
happens.
change and
Yeah.
be a better person and more a person that knows more.
Well, that's where growth happens, isn't it? And if you're self-aware and you go into those situations, what I mean by self-aware is if you can become aware of what you're thinking and believing that's making you feel uncomfortable
Yeah.
in those situations, then you can find out where you need to work.
Hmm.
Because it might be, for example, that when you're on your own, it might be that it triggers a belief like no one will ever love me, right? Like, so the reason you're feeling uncomfortable isn't because you're on your own. It's because you're
Yeah.
experiencing the belief no one will ever love me.
Hmm.
And if you realize that, then you can go to that belief and you can work on it, you can question it, you can journal around it.
Yeah.
And once you dispel that, then you're in the same situation, but you're experiencing something completely different.
Finding out your triggers is actually
Mm.
the cheat code of life
Yeah, but
because you start realizing nothing is ever actually about what you're upset or angry about in that moment. It's because something happened 5 years ago with this, that, and the other, and because you feel this way about yourself, and that's why you behave like
you
that.
won't realize those triggers unless you put yourself in triggering situations. And it's
Yeah,
exactly what you're saying. If you're constantly looking for distractions, you're not going to be in the triggering situations to know what you need to do the work on in the first place.
yeah.
So get out there and do it.
Bob's your uncle, Fanny's your aunt. Okay, I've had another one.
Go on.
You might not be able to touch on this that much, but it says fat liberation, but at the same time wanting to lose weight, how to healthily address this. And I tell you what, this is rife within like the plus size community, especially online. So when I first started like doing social media as a job, it was all like, I feel like, well, it was all like body positivity, this, that, and the other. And I think when I first started, like I used to do a lot of posts around like a lot of posts where I was like in underwear or in
Mhm.
bikinis or whatnot, and like that was like seen as body positivity, and
Mhm.
it's like that is body positivity, I guess. But I feel like I got to a certain point where I started steering away from the term body positivity because it also had like quite negative connotations attached for me
Mhm.
personally, because it was very, I don't know. I think a lot of the time with social media, people want you to be polarized in your thinking.
Yeah.
Like you have to be all this or you
Or
have to
all
be
that.
all that.
Mhm. Yep.
When really the
You
truth
can.
lies in the middle somewhere. And it took me a long time
Mm.
to feel comfortable with having different thought processes and opinions. And now I'm in a place where I'm like very comfortable and confident in what I believe and what I think, and also saying that out loud.
Mhm.
But back then it was like,
Felt
oh,
like you
if
had
I
to toe
don't
the
post a
line.
picture
Mhm.
in half naked, I don't love myself. Like, what? What are you even talking about? It's so funny because now, like, I have nothing, like, I would post a picture of myself half naked, I don't care. But I don't feel like I have to do that now to prove that I love who I am.
Mhm.
I think me living loudly and confidently is the proof that I love myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I think more bigger people need. Like seeing that you can be big and still live a great life, just
Yeah.
like anyone else
Not
of
just
any
stand
body
in your
type.
room in it. Not to say that it doesn't take confidence to post a picture of yourself,
Yeah.
online in underwear or bikini, but that's not the antithesis of loving yourself,
Yeah.
because what's someone's internal process? Do they really love themselves, or are they doing that because they want to get
You
validation?
could
That's what makes them
literally,
love themselves. But can I just say, to
yeah.
go back to that person's question, I guess it's that, how, like, having that, she was talking about like self-liberation, but
Yeah.
also having the desire to
Lose
lose
weight.
weight. Because I remember, and I can't remember which influencer it was, and this is probably going back about 8 years or so, and when they lost weight,
Mm.
everyone turned on them.
This is the thing, right? So in this community, in the plus size community, there is like this shame. If someone loses weight, you don't love yourself. You never loved yourself. You're this and you're that. And it's like, why are we shaming people for living their life how they want to live it?
Mhm.
You're not in their body, you're not in their brain. And I fucking hate this thing about like the plus size community. Like how we're shouting and shaming people and being negative towards people for doing what makes them happy.
Yeah.
Like I think, and I've said this before, right? I love who I am. I love my body. I love everything. I accept myself. But if I ask a lot of people of my size,
Mhm.
do you want to be the size? A lot of people would say no.
Mhm.
And that's not to say that they don't love who they are
Mhm.
right now and accept who they are right now. But there is problems in living in a bigger body. Like I feel like I'm very able-bodied for I'm considering I'm a big girl and I do most things I want to do. But there's still certain things that I feel like I can't do or I will be uncomfortable
Mhm.
doing. And no one wants to live like that. You want to live a life where like you feel like you can do everything. But so it's a very deep subject
Loaded.
for
It's
me.
a
It's there's
very,
so many
but
like
but but
opinions.
also online, people who put on weight are celebrated, aren't they? So like, if there's like
Mm,
somebody who used to be like a fitness influencer or whatever, and then they've
mm,
maybe put on weight. Some of those people are some of the loudest voices about
yeah.
accepting and loving their body. But it seems like when it's the other way round, I'm sure there is a proportion of audience and stuff who
Yeah.
really love and appreciate you regardless of what you
Yeah.
do. But like you say, there is that kind of negative connotation where it's like, well, obviously you don't love yourself if you've done that.
But
But
you
if you
know
do
what?
it, if you're doing something healthily and like you said, something that's making you happy, what's wrong with that?
I think for a lot of people in the community, like they've obviously learned to love themselves or learn to accept themselves from watching these people.
Hmm.
So I think it triggers a lot of people because it's like if I've watched this person who helped me to love myself, she's now lost weight. Does that mean that does that mean that she didn't think she was beautiful? Therefore, should I not find myself beautiful? I think it triggers a lot of people's internal thoughts of like, do I now need to lose weight? Is that ideal of beauty that I should be aiming towards? I think it triggers people.
Mm,
That's why people get angry
okay.
because they've
then
seen this
couldn't they?
person that made them feel great about themselves, who's now completely changed their body to something that society for years has told you need to look like. So then it triggers people. That's what it is. That is never about the person.
Yeah.
It's about your own feelings towards yourself.
But then couldn't you unfollow them and find someone else who does represent
Absolutely.
the ideals that you represent? Because, this is not to say, and this is not the same thing, but I guess like for me, the only thing that I can think that's kind of comparable is, when I talk about being single and get attacked for doing this, you can't be single and happy, but
Yeah.
or you can't be happy and single and still want a relationship. And I'm like, you can,
Yeah.
though. You can.
Yeah.
The two things don't, you can do both things. You can be happy and single and enjoying your time as a single person, but still want to have a happy, healthy relationship. And
Yeah.
it's not exactly the same, and it's not going to be as triggering as exactly what
Mm.
you're talking about. But that's the only thing I can think where it's like people want to believe that the two things cannot coexist, and they can
Yeah.
coexist, and they can be true. And you have to do what's best for you, I guess. And
Yeah.
maybe finding ways to affirm your sense of like self-love and identity away from.
Yeah. I just think like I could be a size 24 and love myself, and then I could be a size 14 and still love who I was at a size 24.
Yeah.
Like you have to think, people don't just lose weight to look a certain way.
Yeah.
People might lose weight for health complications, for a million different reasons.
Mhm.
And it's like, but people automatically think it's because of how you want to be perceived physically.
Mhm.
And that's just not the case.
But does it, yeah, exactly what you said. Does it mean that, one was better than the other? And
Not
that
at
you
all.
think that one was
And
better
that's the
than the
thing.
other?
And that, you know what, that is the exact thing. You've actually hit the nail on the head. Because growing up, society tells you you have to be thin and this, that, and the other to be beautiful and accepted. And it's like, that's because you've got that point of view in your
Ingrained.
head ingrained from society. It's not your fault. It's just what you've seen around you. So you automatically see one thing as bad and one thing as good.
Yeah.
But it's now that you've now started to believe that the bad thing is actually good, and then they've changed, and that's triggered you.
Yeah.
Because now you think, oh, am I bad now?
Okay,
Because I'm still big.
I totally get it. It brings in lots of self-doubt and, yeah. And then it's like that person that affirmed to you and reflected you no longer reflects you anymore.
That's the thing.
And so again, are they saying that your reflection should match their reflection if you want to feel good,
And
right?
if sorry.
Go
I
on.
just interrupted you,
I
but
get
if
it.
someone triggers you that much, then just
Step
unfollow
away.
them.
Yeah.
Unfollow them. If that triggers, I wish it didn't trigger people so much, but body image is such a nuanced subject that is very, very deep rooted for a lot of women in particular. So I get it. Like, but there's no need to be giving hate to people. Like, come on. It's not that deep. And the thing is, like, you don't know. No one will ever be able to articulate the exact reason why they did something. And also, no one's going to please everyone.
But it's, again, like I don't understand the situation, but again, it's like for me now, I made a pact to myself that I wanted to be like the fittest I've ever been at 40. And as we know on this podcast we were talking about, things didn't go to plan, but that's still my plan, right? So I'm now like in the gym and I'm, doing this and that. My body's going to change and it's going to end up probably more muscular and toned.
Yeah.
If it goes to plan. But it does. I won't like my body anymore than I do.
It doesn't
now,
mean that where
or
you
when,
are now is wrong.
When I like, I think I've been a size 8 to a size 16 in my life, and I guess my love for my body probably set in after I had my mastectomy, and so up until that point, I can't speak on it. But anything after that, and my weight goes up and down or whatever. But any size I've been in that time, I love all of it. It doesn't. It doesn't. I know it's different. I understand that because I'm like, I guess like a, what would be considered like a normal, like size body. So I don't have to deal with all of that shit.
Yeah.
And I haven't had to deal with all of that shit. But at the same time, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to the gym because I want my body to change and that's going to make me like my body more. I'm doing it because I want to feel a certain way. I want to feel strong. I want to feel like fit. I want to feel like I'm taking care of myself like that. And that's it. That's the reason for doing it. I can't give a fuck about my appearance anymore.
Yeah.
Obviously I'd care about my appearance, but I mean like changing my body.
Yeah. For other people.
But it's like you're at the gym, you're doing yoga, like all of those kind of things because you can say why you're doing them, but I assume because they're good for you. It makes you feel good. It makes you more flexible. It makes you're in touch
More
with your
energy.
body, like all of those things. And if as a result of that, you lost weight, or you're not going to, it's not going to make a difference to how you feel about your body, because that was
Yeah,
never the reason for doing it.
exactly. It is such a deep topic, especially within like the plus size
Yeah.
community. And it's one that I feel like is hard for a lot of people to talk about because it makes you have to look inside yourself and see how you truly feel about your own body,
Yeah.
which is hard for a lot of
But
people.
I can imagine, if you're growing up as like in a plus size body, and there's, especially, I mean, representation, and we've spoken about this before, has changed definitely a lot in the last kind of like 10 years, and more so in the last 5 years. So if you found someone who then kind of represents you and looks like you, and you haven't had that your whole life, and you felt like you were wrong or broken or,
Yeah,
not good enough or whatever, and then someone comes along who like mirrors you and is like,
yeah.
no, you're not.
And then they
And
change
then they
to that
change.
thing that is the
I can
ideal or
see why that would be
whatever.
super triggering.
Yeah, 100%. But at the same time, like, that is a human.
But it's
They
also,
are not on this earth to be your poster girl of, oh my God, like, take inspiration, but you, like, it's you. Just because you see someone that loves themselves online, and now you love yourself, they didn't do that for you. You did it for
yeah,
you.
exactly. So
So
you
you
have
don't have to look to them for everything. Look to yourself.
yeah, I can't agree with that more. I think it's that as well, isn't it? It's like, why is this triggering me? And
Yeah.
sitting with why it's triggering you,
hmm
and then working on that thing,
hmm
and
And a lot of it is not even our fault. Like, it's ingrained
yeah,
into us from being a
yeah.
child.
But it's not true.
hmm
Like, it's not true. It's not. So it's then about saying, right, am I going to continue to believe this? Am
hmm
I going to continue to allow this to be the subconscious program that runs my life and how I show up and how I act? Or am I going to do something about it? And yes, someone representing you online can really fucking help, but the work is going to have to be done by you.
hmm
And that's it. It's like, I'm going to have to
Exactly.
dig deep, and I'm going to have to question, and I'm going to have to pick apart all of this stuff, and it's going to be hard, but then I think you will truly love yourself if you
Mm.
go through all of that, warts and all, whatever happens. Because as well, like, someone made a point, I think someone made a point, it was Fats Timbo on In Bed
Mm.
with Clara, and Fats has a form of dwarfism, but she was talking about, there's no point saying, I love my body if you don't love your body, as in, what her thing that she used is, what happens then when you get pregnant and your body
Yeah,
completely changes, or
absolutely.
what happens if you have an accident
Accident.
and you're you can't do what you used to do, or what happens if any of those things
Anything.
happen. So it loving yourself isn't just about loving your appearance.
Yeah.
It's really about creating a relationship with your body and
hmm
yourself that's
And
internal.
respect for yourself,
Yeah,
and not
yeah,
just the validation of how your body presenting
yeah,
makes other people react to you.
yeah.
Damn, that was a deep one.
Woo! Done a lot of
Okay.
woos.
Whoa. So,
That's like a horse. That one. Whoa!
I'm really happy I talked about
Whoa!
that because I've never really spoke about that before because it's not really a topic that it's
We've
quite a deep
discussed.
topic, isn't it?
It is, but I think it's very nuanced as well, isn't it?
Very.
And it's also hard because I think when you talk about stuff like that, you want to be cautious of other people's feelings.
Yeah.
You don't want to offend people. You don't want to upset people. But
Mm.
I think
But I just see it so much in my community,
yeah,
and it's like there's quite a few people I know now who've had like gastric sleeves and stuff like that, and who are influencers, and it's like, yeah, I guess it triggers a lot of people.
mhm.
I'm just, what, for me, I'm just happy if other
If
people are
you're
happy.
happy, yeah. If
If
you're
you're
happy,
happy, I'm happy.
yeah.
Your life ain't my life. Just
Your
because
body's
I
not my
used to
body.
watch you and you're now a size 10,
hmm
if you're happy, great, because you're more than your body. You're not just this outer shell.
hmm
So yeah. I just think we should stop commenting on people's bodies altogether, to be honest.
Yeah, it
Just let
shouldn't
them
matter.
do
It
their
should be about
thing.
who you are.
Yeah.
That's it.
Okay. This one you can talk a lot about. Independence and traveling.
Ta-da!
You love to solo travel.
I love solo travel. Solo travel is I think it's the most powerful thing you can do. And I think everyone should take a solo trip in their life at least once. Because I think what we do, especially as women, is it's not safe. It's not safe out there. And
Yeah.
and we kind of talk ourselves out of it, all
Mhm.
the things that could go wrong, all the things that could be really scary about it, and then we don't do it, and it makes our world so much smaller
Yeah.
because we're saying we can't travel without somebody else.
Mhm.
And I think again, you're going to have friends whose finances are different to yours. You're going to have friends whose, they're what they do. So some people might be able to work remotely. Some people are going to be stuck in a certain place. So are you not going to travel to the places that you want to go to
Yeah.
just because no one can come with you or you don't have a partner to do it? And when I was 32, I quit all of my work in London. So I was working for BBC Radio 1 Extra, BT Sport. I quit all my presenting jobs. And because I had a little voice in my head that said, go traveling, that's exactly what I did. And I went for 10 months to the Caribbean and South America. And I just can't explain how incredible of an experience it
Yeah.
was in what it did to me,
Mm.
my confidence, my ability to be able to communicate with people from all over the world,
Yeah.
different walks of life, to create friendships as well with people, to
Yeah.
like kind of cultivate friendships and to just like say yes to things and to feel adventurous and to feel in control and to feel empowered and free. Like, I can do this. I can decide I want to go somewhere in the world and I can go there
Mm.
on my own and know it's going to be okay.
I'm not gonna lie, like I think I'd be scared. Like I'm one of them people. I've gone on like solo trips before, but I think for me, it's not the scared about being alone thing. It's the different cultures,
Mhm.
and like me, I get overwhelmed. I'm like, could I navigate that? It's more like a doubt of myself, like the language barrier, the different culture, being so far away from home. Like I go on a solo trip in Europe, like that don't bother me. But I think like there's many places that I'd love to go, like Brazil, for
Mhm.
instance. I'd love to go to
I went
Brazil.
there on
But
my
I'm
own.
like, fuck, could I do that? It just feels so big and scary, doesn't it? When you're like by yourself.
It does feel big and scary, and it did feel big and scary. And I was, I've spoken about before, I have been like shy at different times in my life, and I kind of have struggled to start conversations. But again, like you've spoken about it, even on this episode, about
Yeah.
getting out of your comfort zone.
Mm.
And what you're going to do is the same as, like you said, when you sit on your own and suddenly your head's filled with all this stuff, and you're, oh, I need a distraction, I need a distraction. It's the same as like you're building up a lot of stuff in your head, and you just go and do it.
Hmm.
And when you're there, it works. Like you just
Yeah.
make it work. And the thing is, and what I would say is my biggest piece of advice for solo travelers is to stay in hostels. Like that's, unless you want to go
Yeah.
somewhere, stay on a resort and just chill out and maybe do a couple of like excursions or whatever. I would always advise people to stay in hostels. Like even if you just stay there for a couple of nights and then you go to like an Airbnb or a hotel, in that couple of nights, you'll meet enough people that you've got people to hang out with if you want to hang out with people.
Yeah.
Also, the people who work in hostels know everything about the
Really.
area, like where to go, what to do, the best
I
restaurants,
can
the
be so
nightlife.
stush though. Like I want to stay in somewhere nice.
I hear you.
I've never stayed in a hostel in my life.
Nor had I until I was 32. I'd
Really?
never done it before. I never wanted to travel with a backpack. It never even crossed my mind
Yeah.
until this little voice in my head was like, "Go traveling," and I was like, "No, I don't want to
With a
do
big
that."
fat backpack.
Yeah,
Did you go with the backpack?
Oh my god, yes. I had a backpack and a front pack because I took like I vlogged it, so I took a camera and everything with me, and I had to carry all of that around. So and it was really heavy, my backpack as well. I had so many things in there. And I went to so I was in St. Vincent and then Trinidad, and then I went to Brazil, Argentina, Peru, Bolivia, Ecuador,
Wow.
Panama, Colombia. And I did bus trips, like overnight bus trips on
Yeah.
my own. And I think we look out at the world, and especially at the moment, it's in such a mess. And we just think, that it's all negative, but there are
Mm.
so many good, nice people. And I do
Yeah.
think that traveling on my own has shown me that. This year I went to Mexico and Costa Rica on my own
Mm-hmm.
because I really wanted to go to Costa Rica. And you can choose places like Costa Rica where there's lots of nature to see, so there's lots of excursions and things to do. You plan your kind of route before you go, if that makes you feel more comfortable. And I only had a certain amount of time there, so I had to really be strict with my route. I kind of knew what excursions I was going to do, like booked places to stay, and there I didn't stay in hostels there.
Mm.
And because there's so much to do, so like every day I had another trip to do. And then the last part of my holiday, I went to like a beach town and checked into like a really nice hotel, and I was staying there. And I met some people from Atlanta,
Oh
ADL
yeah. Fun
baby.
eight. Fun eight.
So I ended up making friends with them. One of them's since been to visit me in London, Thomas, who
Oh
you met. Yeah.
yeah.
So I met them there and ended up going out with
Oh,
them.
that's amazing.
Um,
Yeah, it's
so
really about trips. Like
yeah,
I made when I went to Florence last summer with
yeah.
I went with my friend, but we went on a wine trip and we made so many friends. Like I feel like being on trips, and as well, Americans are it's always the Americans and
They're
the
so
Australians.
friendly.
The Americans and the Australians
Good old
will
Aussies.
always talk to you.
Yeah, they love it.
Always.
And I think you just have to be willing to put yourself out there. I do. Have I told you that story before about when I was traveling and I went into the room I'm sure I've told it on the podcast before. And I just said to the Australian girls, I'm
Oh
coming
yeah,
with
yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
So, like just stuff like that. You just throw yourself out there and it will be
Everyone's there for
okay.
this, especially if you're in a hostel. Everyone's there for the same reason.
Yeah.
They're all traveling.
Yeah. And the thing is, when you come back, your sense of independence, your sense of kind of like freedom. Because once you've done it once, you can do it again.
Yeah.
All of that, it just changes. Honestly, it changes your life.
I think like seeing different cultures and different countries and the beauty of life will give you a real lust for life.
Yeah.
I think especially like living in the same country and just not really seeing much of the world, you just get a bit like, oh, everything's the same. You just get used to what your life is like, not knowing that other people's lives are so different.
But if I'd been on that trip, the 10-month trip that I did with a friend, it would have been such a different experience.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have there were times where I felt uncomfortable. There were times where I was way pushed out of my comfort zone. There were times where, there was 2 or 3 days and I didn't speak to anyone. And, I'm like, am I ever going to make any more friends or whatever? But I just went out and did stuff and I got on with it. And, I did the best I could. And I noticed with me, like sometimes I'm really hard on myself. So I'll be like, am I doing enough? Have I done enough excursions? Am I just not doing it because I'm scared?
Like
and kind of like start psychoanalyzing myself. But all of that was part of it. All of it was part of the journey. I did some incredible stuff. I did a 32-hour bus journey in Brazil.
Wow.
And yeah, next to a toothless Brazilian man. That was nice.
A toothless Brazilian
32 hours. But again, like I felt really safe. I never felt like threatened or unsafe. I don't speak Portuguese. I speak a tiny bit of Spanish, and I had the best time.
How do you feel? Because I think that's a worry for a lot of girls. I'm not a person that feels unsafe, really. Like, I think probably 'cause I'm a bit delusional. I'm probably because like I just don't ever feel that sense of like being. I do sometimes, but like with travel, I don't.
Yeah.
So how would you say to women like to make them? What would you say to women to help them feel safe, like going solo traveling?
Well, I think it's the same as what you do to feel safe here. Essentially, I think what I learned. So on the trip that I was on, nothing like bad happened to me. I don't have any negative experiences, or even times where I felt a little bit scared or anything. I'm really searching my brain, and there wasn't any. However, my friends did get their passport and stuff stolen. But what happened is they got to the hostel and they had like all this, like their bag with their important bits in. And and they were told, like, if you're in, it was in Buenos Aires in Argentina, like they'll tell you what areas, just don't go there unless you're going on like a guided tour or you're doing whatever. Don't just walk into that area because you don't know where you are. Just the same as if you're in any other city. And that's what they did. They got off the bus at the wrong stop. Someone saw them and just stole their bag because it's money, isn't it?
So your wits about you.
Yeah, but you can literally go. You get on a coach, you get on a bus. Sometimes they just drop you off at the hostel you're staying in or the hotel or whatever. Go there, speak to them. They will tell you like where to stay. I remember when I was in Buenos Aires, I was walking around the city on my own, but in the part of the city that I knew I'd been told that I was okay to walk around in. So I think it's about that. I wouldn't stay out really super late on my own. But I had made groups of friends and we went to different things like trips and clubs and whatever else. And I would use Ubers to get myself like home. I know there are unfortunately some horror stories about Ubers, but I do think at least there's some way of tracking the person because you've got a record on your phone.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to go walking around the streets crazy late at night. I'm not going to have loads of like bling shit on me. And I just think it's the same kind of thing. Like if you feel uncomfortable, speak to somebody. But in all honesty, when I was traveling, most of the crime that happened to people was phones getting stolen, passports getting stolen, bags getting stolen, where they put them down at a bus station and gone to get a drink, or turned their back for a minute and someone's whipped their whole bag.
Just like keeping your wits about you in a city.
Yeah,
in England.
not violent crime. And obviously there's going to be or sexually violent crime. There's obviously going to be cases of that. But I think for the majority of people, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of people who go traveling every year, you're fine.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really about kind of rationalizing that and maybe starting off with some small trips first, building up to a big trip. There are some really good companies like Flashpack who do like group
Oh,
solo
nice.
travel, so you can get together with a group of other people for a
Yeah.
trip. You could do like a month trip, you could do 3 months, 4 months, 5
I'm sure
months.
there's another one. My cousin went on
Yeah,
one
there
where
isn't.
she
There's
went on like a
more.
group
Yeah.
trip.
So there's all of those opportunities. There's lots of different ways to do it.
Love that.
So yeah,
I think we have time for one more.
go.
Career pressure in your 20s and the feeling of not knowing what you want to do in life. Damn.
I'm in my 40s and I still don't think I'm 100% sure.
Really?
I really don't. And I know my dad said like, well, he didn't know what he wanted to do until he was in his 40s either. Really, like he's like, maybe I had an inkling of knowing, but I
Yeah.
didn't have the balls to really go for it.
There's just such a pressure to have everything figured out and
No
have
one
all your
does
life
though.
together. And especially like there's like this pressure to like have it all figured out before 30. And it's like, bro, in your 20s, you don't know what's going on. These are your years to try things, fuck up, try something again, fuck up. Do you know what I mean? Like there doesn't have to be a time frame on when to get things all together.
No, but also long gone are the days where someone has, a career, unless you're a doctor or a lawyer or whatever, that you get into when you're, early 20s
Yeah.
and you stay in for the rest of your life
Yeah.
and you can't move or change because that's the only thing you can do. Like
Mm,
that's not it. We grow, we change, we want different things.
yeah.
Maybe we feel and start to feel more aligned with our purpose or realize what it is and we want to do something aligned with that. So we're going to keep changing. And the biggest I think misconception is that people have their shit together. No one's got their fucking shit
No.
together. It's a load of tosh. They
Not
might
allowed a
you
tosh.
might have your shit together and feel like, yeah, I've really got this, yeah, I've really got it all sorted out. My life's
Yeah.
going really great. And then someone will just go,
Life is
and you'll go,
full of
oh.
surprises. And it's okay to start again. It's okay to fail
I'm
and
kind of
start
doing
again.
that again now.
Yeah.
My BBC job's coming to an end. And yes, I've got like a reasonable following on socials and I get some brand stuff, but it's not my full-time job. It never has been, and I've never treated it as such.
Yeah.
And now I'm looking at it, it feels like a massive mountain of like paperwork. That's what it feels like, even though
Mm,
there's no paperwork involved, and I don't know where to start, and I feel
yeah.
so overwhelmed and confused by it all. I'm just like, I don't even know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know how to do it, and I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So that's currently how I feel, but I know that I'll get through it because I felt like that before about other stuff.
Mhm.
So yeah, I don't think it ends in your. I'm sorry to break it to you, but I don't think it ends in your 20s.
And who knows? Like, obviously, I've been doing content creation as a full time job. I'm 27.
Hmm.
In 10 years, God knows what I'll be doing. I might not be doing this.
Hmm.
I might, and that's a scary thought, but at the same time, it's okay
Yeah.
because that is life. And we're meant to evolve and change go with the flow and this,
Hmm.
that, and the other.
Yeah. And I've been
Yeah.
thinking recently about going back to uni.
That's so
Um,
good.
and I think, again, it's just like the only thing that's stopping me is it's so fucking expensive.
Expensive. Yeah.
It's so expensive. So that's the only thing that's kind of like standing in my way at the moment. But I think I never wanted to do that when I was younger.
Hmm.
I wouldn't have known what to choose or what to do, or, even in my 20s, I
Yeah.
was just kind of, I went with the flow. I went with what was put in front of me, which was presenting. I know that sounds weird, and it took a weird series of circumstances
Yeah.
for that to be the case, but it was the case. And I was like, well, if this is here, I'll
Right.
just do this then.
Yeah.
And I love it, and
Hmm.
it's really helped me overcome like shyness and stuff. And I think that's part of what I'm supposed to do,
Yeah.
but I don't think it's all of it.
Hmm.
And I what I will say um is I think that in this scenario, and it's about giving yourself grace,
Mm.
and that is something that I've had to do because I'm like going to myself, what's the answer? Like, you need to know now.
Because it's
What is
that.
the answer? Because yeah, you're talking about being your 20s and there's this pressure, to get everything done by the time you're 30. I'm 40,
Hmm.
and I'm like, I'm not in the financial situation that I want to be. I don't have, everything set up in the way that I want it set up. So I'm
Mm.
like, you need the answers now, because if you don't have the answers, you can't do this and that. I don't have them.
It's the uncomfortability of not knowing there. And that's the anxiety, isn't it? Like the feeling of like, I actually don't know.
It's
And it makes you feel
oh,
like you have no control. That's the thing. People want to feel in control of their life. And it's hard to
and
just
they want to
surrender
know
to
the
that when you have
answers.
bills,
Hmm. Hmm.
responsibilities, X, Y, and Z.
I think for me, it's really frustrating
Yeah.
because I'm a doer. Like I can do it, but
Yeah.
how can I do it if I don't know
You
what it
don't know what
is?
it is.
And
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I not know what it is? And so that's been going. And so I was like, no, it has to be grace. If I don't have the answer, I don't have the answer. I
Mm.
can't do what I don't know how to
Hmm.
do or what that is. So I just think, you really, really, really have to understand that I think we're taught that life is about us getting a job, getting a mortgage, having a family, doing this, doing that, all by a certain age. And then, yes,
I've
life is
completed
complete.
life.
But actually, I really don't think that is the purpose of our lives. I
Yeah.
think we come here to learn and grow. And it's all of these bumps in the road. It's the journey. And people say it's all the time, whether it's athletes or successful business people, it's always the journey, the ups and downs, never the destination. Because
Yeah.
once they get to the destination, they're like, oh,
Exactly.
you know,
You feel like, what the hell do I do now?
yeah.
Like you feel unfulfilled.
It's the experience. Like I haven't ticked any of the, well, not any of them. I haven't ticked all of the tick boxes, for someone my age, according to what society says I should have
Yeah, but
done.
who the fuck says what you should and shouldn't?
Exactly.
It should look like.
But I feel like I feel really accomplished, and I feel, even though I'm in a bit of a sticky spot at the moment, I've been in a sticky spot before. I know it's going to be okay. I'll work it out. So I'm not, I'm learning to give myself grace. And the hardest thing I'm having to learn is patience, because I'm so impatient. I'm like,
I'm the same, and I'm getting better as I get older. But I think like ultimately it's about what you want your life to look like, not about what society tells you your life has to look like or what the majority of people's
No,
lives look like.
no.
Because you might have the life that everyone else has or what society wants you to have, and you'd be unhappy.
You'd be
So you have
miserable.
to do what you want.
And don't compare yourself to other people, because your timing is not everybody else's timing. And it's so important to remember that. And trust me, when things happen, you're like, oh, that's why I
Yeah.
had to wait.
Yeah.
And I feel like even now, if I hadn't have been through the things that I've been through, I wouldn't be capable of having the conversations that I'm having with you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be capable of, coaching and helping women become more confident in themselves and creating a better relationship with themselves. I wouldn't be capable of, creating content and being confident enough to kind of come from the perspective that I'm in. And I wouldn't be able to be so confident being single and, whatever at my age, and having a fucking happy life and going out there and doing stuff, had I not have experienced all of these things. That makes me feel good.
Yeah.
And if someone says, what did you do in your life? I mean, I have got a list as long as my arm, so I think that it's really not about comparing yourself to other people. It's really about enjoying the journey and the experience. And yeah, I think the pressure is there because you're allowing it to be there.
Yeah.
It's an imagined
I think
pressure.
as well, not everyone is like spiritual or stuff like that, but I just think if you are a person that believes that life will unfold exactly how it's meant to unfold for you, that can bring a sense of ease. But I know not everyone thinks like that.
Yeah, but I don't know if maybe it's because you call it spirituality, but I think I just think that the only way that I've ever found to look at life and this world that we live on, there is so much positivity, but there is so much negativity. And I feel like it would be hard for one to exist without the other, because how would
Yeah.
you know what one is without the other? But that is why I can only assume that we have those experiences, because then it's an opportunity for us to grow and learn. Like, that's it. No matter how basic that sounds, how triggering that might be for some people, what is the other option? What else can you do with a shit scenario when a horrible thing happens to you? What else can you do other than learn and grow from it and find a way to allow it to make you a better person? That's it. That's all I got. I don't know otherwise.
Yeah.
Otherwise it's all purposeless, and that doesn't make sense to me. So that's the way I choose to look at it.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yay!
Girl talk.
Girly talks.
Yeah.
That was a good little girl talk.
I enjoyed
That was
that.
real good.
Yeah.
Do you have anything for me,
Do
darling?
you know what it is?
What?
Are you gonna do the thing?
My what? Saucy secrets. No, that's not how I do it. I've been doing it differently for the past few episodes.
Go on.
But what I used to do was the saucy secrets.
Didn't you used to sing it?
No, I didn't. I did the sa. You did the
Saucy
singing.
Secrets. Shh.
No, wait. Yeah, no. So wait. Yeah, stop. This is our new one.
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Okay, go.
So I go, saucy secrets.
Saucy Secrets. Shh. Okay. So
I fucking love that.
we asked people about their wildest holiday sex stories.
Damn.
Well, damn, your craziest
Tell us,
sex
what was
stories.
it? It was tell us your craziest holiday sex story. Do you want to go first?
Have you got any?
You know I've got one.
Oh, you want to ask my own one?
I want to know your craziest
Oh,
holiday
my
sex story.
craziest holiday sex story. Oh my god.
Because you'd be having a lot of holiday sex.
Well, yeah, I do,
apparently.
but it's not really crazy. I need to think. There must be one that's a bit crazy. No, you might have to. I don't know. I think mine are all like
Okay, I've got one for you.
pretty not that crazy. Here she goes.
Oh, I've never told this story before.
Woo!
I've never told this story before. I must have been. I was fresh out of uni.
Wait.
Fresh out of uni. So I was like, I think I just turned 21. Went on holiday with my two best friends. So we took what we did right when our last student loan installment dropped. The day the student loan dropped, we went to TUI on the high street and we took that £1,500 of our student loan and we bought a holiday for when we graduated.
Well, that's a big holiday.
I know it was. We went to Jamaica for like 10 days.
All inclusive.
Yes,
you
Jamaica,
did.
Montego Bay, all inclusive 10 days. Right. So we yeah. Looking back, like
all
that was
inclusive.
like my first. That was like my first like big like holiday, girls' holiday, and that was very expensive. But was it 1,500? I can't remember. No, there was three of us and we were all in one room. Anyway, it was expensive and we took our student loan and bought it. So, and then we flew out. So we graduated on I think it must have been like a Thursday.
Yeah.
Flew out on the Monday.
Yeah.
So, went to Jamaica. Great time. I think my first time in the Caribbean. Loved it. My friend who I went with had been like a few times before. She knew like the crack. I think she'd even stayed in this hotel before. So we like went there. Jamaica's like the most beautiful place I've ever been in my life. So beautiful. Anyway, so then I'm in Jamaica. And we like got friendly like with all the entertainment team and the bar staff. Like so it was like swim up bar. This is a proper party hotel. No kids allowed. We met all these Americans. They were so nice. When got friendly with like the bar staff, the entertainment team, X, Y, and Z. And the entertainment team would like come in the pool in the day and we were all chilling together. Anyway, so I started chatting to this one guy and he was on the entertainment team. And then one day, and my friend was chatting to like this other boy who was on the same team. Anyway, one day, it was raining. There was like a thunderstorm, and this guy had got my number, and he texted me and he was like, "Meet me in this area." And me and my friend both went because my friend was going to meet his other friend. So it was them two and us two. Yeah. So we go and meet them by the side of the gym. And it was like pissing down, like no one was around. Yeah. And obviously they couldn't have been seen with us. Like they would have got caught and they would have got in trouble. Anyway, they take us in the back.
In the back of the gym?
In the back. No, like in the back. Yeah, like near the gym, but behind like the stage area. They take us in the back area. My friend goes into the pool noodle closet.
Oh!
I go into the disabled toilet.
Oh, classy.
Oh my God, this is such a funny story. Me and my friends still piss ourselves about it today. He takes me to the disabled toilet. Gets in the toilet, locks the door. I'm nervous as fuck now because I'm thinking, what the hell's going to happen? He looks me dead in the eyes and goes, I'm even going to do his accent because I need to do it for dramatic effect. Looks me dead in the eyes and goes, turn around, let me give you a back shot.
Did you oblige?
I turn around and let him give me back shots because what else was I supposed to do? What else was I supposed to do? You asked me politely. No, so yeah, that was wild. Turn around, let me give you back shots.
Yeah.
Romantic as always.
I feel like I don't know if I've had any like encounters where there wasn't like any kind of preamble, you know?
Yeah, that was very wild. Like we hadn't even kissed.
No.
And you're telling me to turn around, let me give you back shots.
Yeah, I don't know if I've had that. I mean, I've had like a few holiday flings. I mean, more recently I've had quite a few. And some of them have been really great, but they weren't like dramatic. It's like I met someone, like hung out with them for a bit, or I knew them through friends. If it's a place that I've gone where I've got friends, and then like things have happened, those kind of things.
Naughty.
But I don't think. I'm just trying to think if there's one where I was like, I don't even know who that person was. You know, like that kind of thing. And I'm like racking my brain, and I'm not sure if there was or if there has been. But, you know, I'm quite old. So.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you a secret right now. I probably shouldn't say it. I had sex at DLT Malta this year.
Did you?
I did.
bam, she got it.
Which I was like, no.
Hold on a second. Who didn't have sex at
Yeah,
DLT
like
Malta this
I
year?
went there thinking I'm not doing nothing, and then this started chatting to this boy on the first night. I was just like, whatever. But he was a friend of a friend. Like my friend knew him and like went to college with him. So he was like, like he'd been like pre-vetted. So I was like, okay. He was chatting to me one night, and I was not on chatting to no one. I was like, whatever. And he saw me the next night, came up to me again, and was like, and he kept going away and coming back, and I was thinking, he's kind of cute actually. And then
then bam.
Yeah.
So I mean, stuff like that I've done, but no, I don't have I don't think I've got a disabled toilet story.
Exactly. That one is funny. That one's funny as fuck.
Or a noodle.
Even my friends now, to this day, we still say that line.
Yeah, I can't. I don't think I have one of those.
Anyway, so give me yours.
But we've got some great ones from people.
Okay.
In the middle, I was in the middle of the deed, and the Airbnb owners came in because they forgot something.
Oh fuck! No, that's bad.
Just there like that.
You shouldn't be doing that though. Wait, to be honest, like how had you just got in the house and started fucking straight away? Because how have they like? Because if it's gone past a few hours of when you've checked in, they shouldn't be coming in the house, or they should be at least letting you know. Also,
maybe there's a lot of Airbnbs they put cameras in. Maybe they saw it and
thought, oh, I want a bit of that.
I could join in here.
Exactly.
I know. Meow. Yeah, I would be really pissed off if that happened to me.
I'd be fuming.
They didn't knock, ring the doorbell. They just walked in. Oh, sorry.
But then what are they going to say? It's my house.
No, but they're just, when it's just like, oh, sorry. No, you.
Oh, sorry. Didn't mean to walk in on you two fucking.
Sorry, I had no idea.
I didn't have a secret camera.
Mind if I join in?
I wasn't outside with the cup to the door.
Listening. Yeah, that would I'd be really pissed off.
Now, will you get the fuck out?
Yeah.
I've paid good money to stay here.
Get out. I don't need an audience.
Innit?
Out you go.
That's bad, that.
Yeah, and then it would make me feel really creeped out for the rest of the trip. I would then search the whole entire Airbnb with a fine-tooth comb, see if I could find a camera, and then they'd be done. They'd be done out here. Or I'd ask for a refund. I'd be like, you've seen my vagina now. You've seen my vulva. Or basically, you've seen me have sex. Pay me.
I'd contact Airbnb. You got to get in touch with the big dogs.
Yeah. Someone said, Mum and her boyfriend wanted an early night, and I was bored and fucked the Cypriot lifeguard in my room.
Oh, I love them stories. Have you ever been on holiday with your family and then you meet like someone on holiday that you think, yeah, I would, but I'm with my family? Because I have.
No, I haven't been on holiday with my family for years. So I think I did when I was younger, but I was too young to have sex. I remember I did get fingered by someone on the beach in Dominican Republic when I was 14, and then my dad came looking for me, and he was like, Clara, and I was like, yes.
Yes.
Me? What? And he was like, nothing. I just wanted to see if you're okay.
Oh my God.
I mean, I don't think he saw, exactly what was happening.
Oh,
and it wasn't a pleasant experience. It was sandy and stuff.
Oh no. Sex on the beach is actually not fun.
Yeah, it's not.
Sex on the beach ain't fun because who wants all that sand in their knickers?
In their panties.
No, it's not good at all.
Ew, gross.
It's not good at all.
Right, okay. This one's a good one. This is a good story.
Oh God, oh God, oh God.
My crazy holiday experience was when I was 17. I went on holiday to Center Parcs with my family, mum, dad, and brother. We were there, and I think on the second day we went to the bar and sat outside as it was warm in September. There were these two guys around 19 with their families sitting outside. We all get chatting, as you do, and they decided to bring out the shots for me and my family. My parents and my bro didn't do theirs, but I didn't want to be rude, so I necked down all four in quick succession.
How old is she?
She was 17. How every great story starts.
Yeah.
Both the boys gave me their Facebooks, and I was messaging both of them. The following day, I met them at the bar on my own.
Ooh.
They brought me drinks, and it was obvious they wanted something.
Oh, no.
I stayed out until around 11 with them, and they said they'd walk me back to the lodge where me and my family were staying. I didn't get dropped off, though.
Dun, dun, dun.
They had me one by one against the wall.
Piss off.
And I knew I had to be quiet not to wake anyone up. My parents still don't know this ever happened.
Wait, outside or inside?
Outside.
Outside the lodge?
Yes.
They had her one by one,
against the wall.
taking turns.
No, one went and then the other one went.
What was the other doing whilst the other was shagging?
Probably watching.
Oh, that's naughty.
Yeah. Well,
At Center Parcs. I hope it were in summer.
Emma's like, where was it?
Which one was
what
it?
was it? Which
Lonely
centre park?
Forest?
Oh, I mean, well, I don't
Get
know.
me there, girl.
Sign me up.
No, that's very mad.
That's mad. But also, you know, she enjoyed it, so
I
why
love
not?
that for her.
I love that for her as
Centre
well, you know.
Parks. I've never been Centre Parks, you know.
But at 17 as well. That's
an experience.
A brave choice to make. Right, we've got some more. Ready for this one? 2019, Turkey.
I love that.
Paint
the picture. 2019, Turkey.
He didn't speak a word of English, but had a great sized cock. Sand all in my vagina. Had to have antibiotics for an infection from the sand when I got back. Was it worth it?
Oh my! Well, she sounds like it were worth it.
Great size
cock. You
And
think
why
you could
not?
pass this class?
Can I just say, I don't know what country my friend was in, but she got a happy ending from a massage. The guy did ask her, because apparently he was like, when he was massaging her thighs, I think things were getting a little bit, you know, blowy.
Yeah.
And he said to her, do you want me to like finish you off?
How did they? Oh, did they say finish you off?
Well, I don't know.
I'm gonna say, how did they ask?
Sorry, I didn't know exactly what words he said, but she said, yeah, she opted for it.
This is the thing. I would love a sexual massage. Maybe by my partner. No, I want someone that knows how to do it right. Like, I would actually really like an intimate massage. I don't know if I'd have it from a stranger. But like, so do you ever see like on TikTok and Instagram, you ever see the guys like giving the women massage and it's so sexual? And you're thinking, how are they not fucking? I'd have one of them massages. I'd have one of them massages.
There's a guy who messages me on, who was messaging me on Instagram to say, give me a free one of those.
Is he one of them?
Yeah.
Give me his Instagram. Give me his Instagram. Tell him to get in touch. I'd have one. It looks so nice.
Yeah, but I wouldn't like it because
it helps if they're fit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it'd be too. But also, it might be too much personal for me.
That's what I mean. I don't think I'd. No, I wouldn't like it from someone who's not fit. But I feel like people that do that are fit. You can't do that and not be fit. But it is a bit weird, isn't it? But then when it's just, I wouldn't want the camera to be there. But if it's just you and them, and maybe it isn't sexual. Maybe they don't touch anything intimately. But
you're both going to be really turned on by doing that.
It looks good. I want it.
Was shagging on the balcony, and the next minute the hotel security was knocking on the door.
Oh, piss off!
Knock, 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 knock.
Have you shagged on a balcony before?
Hello.
Stop shagging on our balcony. This is a family-run hotel.
People can see you. We can hear you.
Oh my God.
Put your dick away.
I saw.
Did you see people having sex?
No, I've seen this video on Twitter that was going around. It was like this porn star guy getting sucked off on a balcony, and it's from the woman who's like above's point of view. She's recording him and she's going, I've got kids, go inside. And he's going, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Oh wow.
He's getting sucked off on a balcony.
Getting sucked up on the balcony.
You can see him recording, like, because he's like a porn star.
Yeah.
Like in OnlyFans, whatever the fuck.
OnlyFans.
Have you ever had sex on a balcony?
I don't think I have.
Everyone that comes to my house, because I have a balcony at my house, they go, have you fucked on the balcony? I said,
I don't think I have. I feel like
because the tram and the train runs right outside my house.
It doesn't make me feel good, the idea of being caught or other people watching me have sex.
I'm not into it.
Which I know for some people they like, but for me, I do not like that. So that's not going to be my thing. There's this other story that I wanted to read you that was a really good story that someone sent us, and I feel like I have to find it and I have to read it to you because I know you're gonna like that.
Yeah, baby.
Okay, here it goes. She's put Saucy Secret.
Damn.
The title is Saucy Secret. Saucy Secret. I met an Italian guy on Tinder that used to be in and out of my country, so we'd hook up for dinner and sex.
I love this voice you're putting on, by the way.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it?
That's BBC voice right there.
Yeah. This carried on for a few months, and then one day he told me about his favourite blankie.
Okay.
I got nervous about where this was headed. My suspicions were correct. He gave me a bit of info to test me. Next was the fact that he sucked a pacifier to relax.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Then he liked drinking milk from a baby bottle. And of course, it went all the way to diaper wearing. I continued seeing him for a while because I was so curious to see where it all went.
Fair enough.
But then one day he said he'd like to shit the diaper and have me clean it up.
I'm speechless.
She says, that was the end. Plot twist. His mother had a pacifier too and sucks it with him.
Oh my God.
I'm traumatized.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, but if somebody said to me about their blankie, I'd be like...
No. The thing, my brother had a blankie until he was like 15.
That he used in sex?
No. I mean, like,
But
had a
that's what
blankie.
he's saying. He
had a blankie that he used in sex.
Well,
I thought you meant he just had a blankie.
No, but he's starting to... Okay, he was telling her he had a blankie, then that he liked to suck a pacifier, but it was like a sexual thing.
I thought you meant that he like just sucked on a dummy to relax.
No, he does do that. And then he drinks milk from a baby bottle and he wears a nappy.
That's too far.
And he wanted to shit the nappy and have her change it.
I don't know. Like, I'm stuck between not wanting to kink shame people, but at the same time, it's not for me, darling. Like, I won't even change my actual niece and nephew's shitty nappies. You know, there's no way I'm changing a 30-year-old man's shitty nappy.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I know the kink shaming thing is wrong. It is. No, it is, because
it's wrong.
But what I think is, go find other people who have the same kinks as you.
Yeah,
that would be my thing.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you started sleeping with somebody,
yeah.
when you know that actually probably that's not going to be enough, there's something later down the line.
I fully get it.
So I think if you have a certain kink, rather than try and you know, either be honest with someone right from the start, and if they're into it, they're into it. Or B, go to you know, site or whatever it is and find someone else who's into your into the same kink as you. I saw there was a girl who does like OnlyFans and stuff, and she was talking about one of the clients that she has who likes like fart play or something. She was calling it. So she'd been like farting down the phone to him or whatever, and she was talking about this story. She posted up the video. He commented in the comments, because obviously he's confident with what his kink is. And then a woman who also likes the same thing commented, and now the two of them, bam, boom. So,
I love that.
So I feel like, you know, whatever your kink is, there's going to be someone else out there who's into it. Find them.
Exactly. Like, he was dropping hints to try and make her get it. And it's like, just come out, just be like, I like to dress up as a baby. And that's my thing. Is that something that you could possibly maybe want to be into with me? Do you want to try it? Instead of just dropping it in. Yeah, then, you're fully right. So we're not shaming you because you like to be a baby. We're shaming you for
just not being honest from the start, I think. And that's the thing. You've got to find someone who's into what you're into. And even when I was like 23 and I was dating this guy who was 43, which probably is a bit weird now when I think about it, but he told me about like that he liked to give golden showers, like piss on people and in their hair and like face. And he was like, it would just be in your mouth and your face. And I was like, no.
Oh, he was trying to convince you to do it?
No, he wasn't trying to convince me. He was telling me that's what he liked and he wanted me to do it. Yeah. But I was just like, I'm sorry, that's not going to be, I wouldn't. I'm not saying that it's not for other people.
That makes me feel a bit icky, especially knowing you were 23.
I know that it doesn't now, but at the time
it was like a power play thing.
But again, I was just like, no, that's not a turn on for me at all, and I don't want to do it. But he did kind of tell me quite near to the start, so that I knew what it was, and then I get to choose whether or not I want to be part of that.
I don't think I've encountered anyone with like real specific kinks. I don't think I have. Like ones that are like out of, I guess, societal norms.
Yeah. But there you go. That's just the way it is.
Yeah. Because like feet is like really normal now.
Feet's really normal.
I get my toes sucked all the time.
Me too. Put it in my mouth. My motherfucking mouth.
Love it. Is that the end?
That's the end.
Is that the end, darling?
That's it, yeah.
Wow.
Right, lovely. It's been a great episode.
That one has been good. I do like the little girl talks. They're good.
Yeah.
If you guys want us to do more of them, let us know. We love your feedback.
We do. Please make sure that you give us a review, that you like the podcast, that you comment on YouTube, that you like on YouTube. Just support us in all the ways that you can. It's absolutely free to do so. And it really does mean the world to us. Because that's how we're going to grow this podcast. And that's how we get to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Basically. So support the ting.
Yes.
See you next time.
Thanks, guys. Love you all. Kisses.